Hello world, welcome back to Subway 23 Let's Play. This is the new adventures of Midas and Pinback in Norath. Oh, I have no idea how many episodes in we are at this point. And I'm only showing one screen from, this is leftover from last night, but for our purposes this is fine. So I thought I was recording this earlier, and apparently I was not, or something else happened. But I started a quest, and there's a very iconic piece of gear in EverQuest called the Journeyman boots, and they right-click and give you something equivalent to Spirit of Wolf, more or less. But and I really don't need it because I've got a shaman in my pocket at all times, and what that equates to is I always have Spirit of Wolf, but having a right click effect is pretty good on it. So the first step in this, or one of the first steps anyways, is the acquisition of the Ring of the Ancients, which drops off of a Cyclops. That Cyclops, and this is it right here. This is the part that I do not have recorded. The other part is to get 3250 in gold, or 3250 in gold, and then a shadowed rapier. And I think I may have got one here, so we're going to take these guys out. As you can see, they have no body. They're invisible. Makes them very tough to battle. That was not the rapier. Gotta make sure we're grouped, and so there's no more or no issues with possession of the corpse when that looks like a rapier to me. And you hold weapons in your hand, which makes you much easier to deal with. I actually tried to solo one of these guys with Pinback, and he was green, which should have been fairly trivial, and he almost took me down. Part of that was because my men did the opposite. Shadowed rapier. Alright, folks. Now we head through Lake Wraith to Mount Wraith, the mountains of Wraithier. Where that's going to take us is to a gentleman by the name of Hasten Bootstrut. I believe that's his name. And now we're going to trade these things in that we just talked about. Did I? Yes, I did. All right. believe it's straight south. It is. I don't think there's anything in this zone that we really have to worry about. Maybe Grizzle Knot if we were to run into him, but I even doubt he would be much an issue. As someone who formerly played a Dark Elf for many years, coming here and taking out the tree ants up here was one of the best spots for, like, if I remember correctly, it was like 16 through 22 or something, because they dropped a ton of money and they only popped up, I think there were 2, maybe 3 that popped up in that spot. So the dark races would come here and just hunt and hunt and hunt those poor tree ants. That is one thing I always forget about. Sorry, got macaroni in my teeth. I think it's really weird that my character logs in so much faster on the server than he does levitate, than he does on my computer. I mean, I know part of that has to do with the fact that I've got 2 instances of EverQuest going, but sometimes I see him in the world when we zone in for quite a while before he can actually be played, which can be dangerous. All right, let's look up. Just curious if y'all will even make an effort. And I'm glad you did not. All right. So here is where we're headed on this map. This is Wraith Mountains. And then we got a bit of traveling to do in the Wraith Mountains, but somewhere in that area, in the very south of Wraith Mountains, if I remember correctly, is where Hasten hangs out. Or he doesn't hang out. He's very fast. So that's actually one of the issues with trying to get his attention. And also, I think I've heard rumors that people have been going around killing him as some sort of protest. I don't know if it's against other players. I don't know if it's someone pitching a fit. But killing him does nothing, gets you nothing. And, but it does keep anyone trying to get this quest complete from being able to. Black Knoll skin. I kept some of those. What are they for? So if I remember correctly, this is where the hill giants are, but this is also one of the places he paths through. I really could use a bard or someone with tracking. This would be so much easier, but that is not the case right now. A Kodiak bear. Them are big. Isn't Kodiak an indication of a place on Earth? Isn't that where the name Kodiak comes from? Anyways. I could be completely wrong, but... Funk you. You must be a Prince fan. Or a funk fan. You also must be a necromancer. Oh, Hasten, where are ya? Your name sounds like mine. Jason, that is. In case you didn't guess. I really want to. There's some old stories, classic EQ stories, that I would love to have acted out in EverQuest. Don't know how tough that would be, but could be funny. All right. Wait, this... I went the wrong place. Where we need to go is here. My bad. If we were a little bit farther along and the Froglocks were here, that's what this area is. The Froglock Home City. So I may have mentioned in my previous episodes that... I know I mentioned that I felt like the 6-month time period set for the first expansion was just too slow. These are fairly active servers, and there's just so many people crowded on the server. You need to expand it outward, and you need to do it pretty quick. Otherwise, you're just going to lose the momentum of the server. That's part of the problem. Popularity of the server, etc., etc. So they put up a vote yesterday to get people's opinion on whether or not to open up Kunark in 3 months as opposed to 6. And I chose 3. The other option was just go ahead and open it up. My gut told me to go with that, but I didn't. I went with 3 months. We'll see how that goes, but that makes more sense to me. 3 months. I mean, it's one cool thing about them having implemented a voting system is that they can set rules, and then the crowd can say, "Hey, we don't like this one as much. Why don't we change it?" But part of me at the same time thought that I'd be fairly active, and then I could work on some of my other series as soon as I hit 50 and get some gear, do some rating, and then come back after the 6-month period, work my way up, EQ, original EQ style. Always play. You're not always active, but now I don't want to get into the whole giant hunting thing. I am just here for Hasten. And maybe I should ask if anyone's seen him. My guess is this place is fairly camped, because it's a very popular place. Those giants drop lots of money. Oops. I would like to know why you stopped auto following. I guess the reality is he can hang out while I find Hasten. Why would you kill him? That's a rude thing to do and say. Oh, now you're going to make me have to find a spawn point. What the heck? All right, so we got to go to the Fearot. Zone in. Fortunately, we're not too bad there. So he shows up here, and then he goes to the Beatles at the monument. Another benefit to the Journeyman boots is if you can, when you have a large selection of buffs, or you know you're about to get buffed, you use the Journeyman boots to lock down the first slot. And when you're fighting monsters that like to dispel, you can right click, or you can click and keep that spot full, because the dispel normally attacks the first buff in your list, so, or the first available buff in your list. Let me see where he goes after that. Beyond the merchants, where he makes a break. He walks back on his steps up to crossroads and heads south. After passing through, he makes another break. What's his spawn time? That's good to know. I didn't realize he doesn't run along his path anymore. That was always a bad issue with this quest, was trying to talk to him. You need to have a conversation with the guy, but you can't, because you say hey and he stops for a second, and while you're reading he takes off again at so speed. So that's where he pops. That's not right at all. So that's where he depops. I'm really confused. But it does seem wherever he pops, he spends a good deal of time walking through this path. So which makes me wonder, should I kill anything walking in this path? And I may do just that. All right. Now we got a big old dumb Cyclops on our tail. Come on, dummy. Pinback really needs to get some of his skills up. And I think the reality there is he also needs better gear. Right now, he still pretty much has all the gear that Sedace gave him early on, like level 8 to 10. Okay. I'm gonna make a target hasten button. Unkempt Preserver, huh? Alright, so I need to summon food and water for these guys. I don't even know where to go, what that means, but which most likely means he's on his way to Depop. don't know why I keep doing LOC. I'm just going to have to walk around the corner, head towards the hill giant area. J Boots, come on, come on, come on. Wait a second, that's not the hill giant area. He's over. I'm confused. I'm confusing myself is what I'm doing. Wonderfully so. If he's there, then he's on his way out, right? Unless they've changed his route. So give him that, and 250. And now I'm the proud owner of J Boots. Journeyman boot effect is not as fast as so, if I remember correctly. It's just slightly slower, but I can instant click and get the effect. So that's pretty awesome. Now, if I can remember, yeah, it's only 1 AC, and it's pretty heavy for a monk to be wearing, but oh well. All right, everybody, that's going to be the end of this episode. Thanks for watching. That was 40 minutes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the